Aloha everybody and welcome to the Warrior Women Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host Colo and I'm here with Warrior Woman Entrepreneur guest Malia Bettencourt, and she is an auto mechanic here in Kailua on Oahu. So Malia, thank you so much for allowing me to be here and allowing us to film you. Very excited.
Yeah, of course.
So tell us a little bit more about what you do and how it started.
Yeah, I can start from maybe the very beginning,
Yeah.
if that helps at all.
Absolutely.
Growing up, I guess, I always thought this was kind of a problem to where, like when you go in school, the whole point is to get them ready to go off to college or to start a career path. So at least from my perspective, I felt like there wasn't a really good navigation type of procedure. I was super lost to where I didn't know what route to take, what I wanted to do for a living, especially when you're so young too. That's not really the priority that's on your mind. So
Did you have an idea, like, aside from automotive?
I
Like,
had
what
no
was-
idea. I always kind of had that fear kind of in the back of my mind. Growing up, I just saw my parents working all the time. I saw my mom, who was a teacher in the DOE, and she did a great job. She did it for so many years. So I thought maybe I'll do that because, you know, my mom does it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
But I kind of realized as I got older, like, maybe kids aren't my thing. So naturally, the next person is my dad. So he works on cars. I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, if he can do it, you know, like maybe I'll just do that instead. So I would come to a shop maybe like over summer breaks or winter break when my brother and I didn't have summer school or nowhere to go. We would come here and just like run around, get into all kind of trouble, and while the guys are working on cars. So I've always kind of been around the environment, but I didn't know anything automotive related. I barely knew a car had 4 tires. So I figured, Dad, I want to come work with you at your shop. But he's like, if you want to take it seriously, you need an education to like back you up, something on paper that shows that you're in the automotive industry.
Right.
So there was a couple of schools we were looking at, and then I don't even really remember, but we ended up choosing the trade school UTI, and the main campus is in Arizona. So it's Universal Technical Institute. I had maybe a month of summer. Right after I graduated, basically went into this new, you know, I never lived in the mainland. So I felt very like, this is so brand new. Looking back, I'm like, oh wow, I'm glad I took that chance, because that's scary for like an 18-year-old just to like start a life in Arizona in a field she has nothing, no prior experience, like not even really a drive or interest, just
Yeah.
thinking that that was the right thing to do. So went to college for a couple years, and then the day after I graduated, I believe I flew back and I started working here. And
Where's here? For those
at my
home?
dad's shop in Kailua. He had the shop for over 25 years. He started mobile, and now he had this shop, and that's all I kind of really knew. And I had a really hard time in automotive school. That's an entirely different experience I could get into. But
Yeah. I mean, that's what this podcast is about too.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
understanding how you even get into business, what led to it, and
Right.
just
I
really
personally didn't have any guidance. I didn't know like, hey, I'm going to do this, then after I'm going to graduate. Had a vague idea. The idea was go to automotive school, then go to business school, and then you'll have those 2 things so you can run an automotive shop.
right.
But after I graduated, it was just like work all the time, and so we kind of just got
Work like
distracted. Yeah, work here. It's just, it was on and on just all the time, and it seemed like it was harder for me to go back to business school, even though it's not. You can always start and anytime you want, but that's kind of how I always felt. So I was just working here, and kind of the business side came with time and experience, which I think a lot of business owners can relate to, and
Yeah.
that's how they find their way and navigate. They don't give up.
right.
But,
Small business particularly too,
yes.
which I mean, big businesses sometimes can
Mm-hmm.
come from small business, but it's definitely a different kind of feel and energy. And especially you guys, I had no idea
Right.
the shop was here. Like, it was just this wall, and you know,
Yeah.
granted there's a wrench on the door, which again I didn't notice.
Right,
you know,
right.
and like, because when you're just passing things, like you live in New York City too, and you just kind of pass a lot of stuff. You look at it, you like, oh, there's something there, but you don't know.
You don't think anything of it. You just go on with your day.
Right. I'm
so-
like, oh, wonder what that is. And then, you know, to find out it was you, which for those of you that don't know, so Malia and I actually met up in the North Shore riding horses with a friend that I had on the podcast with Tyaneski Quintel. So I'd interviewed her, I think, in season 2. So you can go back and watch that, although I need to definitely redo that with her because the audio was absolute shit. I didn't have these
I'm
mics.
sure she would love to.
Yeah, I didn't have these mics and just the wind, and I tried to edit it the best I could, but yeah, definitely need to redo that. We met through her, ironically, in the North Shore, and then found out that we're right around the corner from each other.
Yeah,
which is
who would have
hilarious.
thought? It's just a small world. It continues to get smaller. But yeah, I met Ty through another customer who had recommended. So it was amazing that she was able to go from the other side of the island, essentially, all the way down here for me to work on her truck. So I really, I hold true to that. I really respect that. So
yeah, and that was through word of mouth.
yes, a lot of it is through word of mouth here in Hawaii. A lot of it is just about connection, and that's kind of how people are able to do what they need to get done. It's kind of make or break over here. A lot of it's word of mouth, the friends you make along the way. So I try to network, I try to make connections as much as possible, just because it is nice to have a group of people you trust that you're familiar with and you all can help each other. There's like a community in that. But back to automotive school, when I first started attending there, it was a lot of book work. And when I initially went there, they had almost pitched to me, it was 75% hands-on. So I thought I was going to be able to touch tools, touch a car. Yeah. And then the rest was going to be book work, so 30%. But when I had went there, I would say it's closer to like 95% book work. And then if you get to touch a tool, I remember the only time I touched a wrench, I barely knew what I was doing. I was so scared of everything. Right. I was in the auto shop in a diesel class, and I had touched a wrench. I guess I was checking if a battery was tight. And then I had arced it on the terminals, and then I ended up sparks flying, and the sparks like blew an air hose.
Oh my God.
And then it made such a loud hissing sound. Everyone in the shop was like wondering, like in this huge room, and then I just, oh my God, like do I have to pay for this? Like what just happened?
That's so scary, yeah.
And I'm trying to blend in as much as possible because I'm like one of the only girls there. I'm usually the only girl in like 25 students in a class.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so panicked. And then we go back to the classroom because the teacher made it seem like everything was fine. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let's never bring this up. And as soon as we get back in the classroom, he's like, so you want to be careful when you're tightening, anything. Or he's just drilling me. And
the
like,
example.
Yeah, we obviously know it was me. Like the dumb girl made the air hose break. But yeah, so that
was...
Very
gut-wrenching.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was the very short-lived hands-on that I've pretty much gotten throughout the entire automotive school. There was one class where we did quite a bit of hands-on, which was really fun.
That's good.
But I had a hard time because I realized it's very hard for me to work through the books. But 2-week classes, every time you're going into a different class, I was just trying to survive is what it felt like to me. I was trying to learn everything as much as I could, but it was difficult. And being the only girl, maybe I would have 1 or 2 other girls in my class, but still it was just such a very different environment from anything I've experienced. Luckily, all the people from Hawaii, we all flew up together, so we did kind of stay close-knit, which was nice. I still keep in touch with a couple of classmates over the years just to see how everyone's doing, even some of my teachers. But just to get through that was an entirely different experience. Plus, like being here on an island versus in a desert, it's such a different environment, that on its own. But I think it was a really good experience that I needed to get just to understand that automotive is very technical. It's not just like ooga dooga caveman, like turning wrenches. It's like everything is measured by the thousands. So everything is super technical, and you can't just casually do it. You need to take it seriously. So it was good to understand that, but it wasn't until I came back here and started touching the tools to where things started to click. I started to understand things, and I realized hands-on is what I'm going to remember the most because I'm experiencing it myself. So every time you like make a mistake on a repair, it's like, well, that's going to haunt you. You're never going to do that mistake again. But
you're a doctor, essentially. Like you're a doctor, a surgeon of like auto mechanics of a car. I mean, the engine, the more I learn about engines and like what's underneath the hood, the more you realize it really is, it's the beating heart of the vehicle.
We often relay it to the human body to help people understand, like, for instance, the engine oil in your vehicle that lubricates all the moving parts. It's like almost the hydration in your body. Like that's what you need it to survive. That's how important it is. Because the oil clearances on the cars are like as thin as your hair. So it's like all of that is very technical and not to be taken lightly. So, but yeah, just getting into the industry itself was a very unpredictable experience. But I'm glad I did it. It brought me to where I was, and it's such a huge industry. It's always changing. So I'm very happy that I'm in this to where I can learn something every single day. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So your dad's shop is called Autocorrect, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
And then yours is the Shecanic, or how does that work? Like, how is it?
Okay, sorry. So back when he had the business, it was under his own name. When I took it over, which was about 10 years ago, that's when I had named it to Autocorrect.
Yeah.
So
What was his before called?
his was Best Auto Repair, so it was our last name, Bettencourt. And for me, when I took it over, I named it Autocorrect, but then my friend and I were kind of discussing like, oh, you should have your own Instagram with like your own thing.
Yeah.
Because even though it's my shop, it is what he built from the ground up.
Right.
So I do feel like in a way it is attached to him. I mean, a lot
Sure.
of this, he still runs a lot of what's going on.
It's family-owned business.
Yeah, he has all the experience. I come to him for all the business-related things because he has so much knowledge over the years.
Yeah.
So in a way, it doesn't feel like it's completely mine. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a blurred line in a way.
Yeah.
So for me, Shecanic is like an absolute way where it's like female mechanic, like my brand. It is in collaboration with my shop Autocorrect because it's where I work. But Shecanic is more like me, my identity, my brand, to where it's like, hey, I feel like I can make whatever kind of content, do whatever kind of merch, or like show the video however I want, if I want to teach someone. So I feel like I have more
Right.
freedom in that sense. Eventually, I did want to consider renaming this place Shecanic when I feel like the time is right, or when I
Right.
feel like I've completely taken over. But I mean, it's a slow burning process. So
Right.
I do like how it's named Autocorrect. A lot of people do enjoy the name.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying trying to build Shecanic, you know,
Yeah.
and building it because it is a female in the male dominated industry. I try not to push too hard because I do understand, like, I have a lot to learn. Like, I
Yeah.
constantly feel like I need to prove myself, and even more so in a male dominated industry. But I never try to make like, oh, I know it all, like I'm better than the guys. But it's like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be as authentic as I can to show, like, you know, like nothing is set in stone in this field. Like anything is possible. I'm constantly learning. And then when I feel like I'm comfortable and I have enough experience, I'll make a video and be like, this is what I've learned over the years. Or like, now I'm comfortable doing this repair, so now I feel like I'm ready to share that.
Yeah.
But it's always something to kind of teeter on. But yeah, I try to focus all my stuff on the Shecanic and then just run the business here at Autocorrect.
Sure. And it can be autocorrect by Shecanic.
Yeah, that's
You
always
know?
a thing too. Like how you're saying, I don't have an example, but yeah, how to combine it to, you know,
Yeah.
full circle it to like, okay, obviously like it's hers kind
Right.
of thing.
To
Yeah.
see like how it's grown and what it's done. Like, and
Yeah.
like you said, within time too, and when it feels right, which is really important to listen to your gut and your instinct
Right.
on that while you're still building. And yeah, too soon, like changes too soon can lead to just not
Right.
like people don't like fast change.
Yeah,
Typically in government, when I was in learning like political science more so, it was like you learn that like people fast change people don't care for usually.
I
right?
still feel like I have so much to learn too. Like I never want to be like, yeah, this is a female owned shop and you know I can do anything. It's like I still feel like I'm slowly getting up there. But
Yeah.
it is nice to see that over the years I'm learning a lot and it's showing in the work that I do. And you know, obviously people are coming and coming back, and the feedback that I get is kind of reassurance that I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm doing the best that I can, and I think it is rewarding to see that everything that I have support, that people are having good experiences here.
Yeah.
All of that means a lot to me, and to show that all the hard work is paying off.
And you said you took it over officially 10 years ago?
Yep, I took it over 10 years ago.
How did that work, if you don't mind us like kind of asking,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
for anybody that's interested in family-owned businesses? I mean, they might know, or just like working with family. Like,
Right,
how
it
can
is
you?
very difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it.
Sure,
Because
that's
it's
important
so,
too.
It's to be completely honest.
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
so stressful and like such a different level. I know everyone has their own different stresses and challenges, not to discredit that, but for me, I just feel like it's such a next level type of stress, and to combine personal and business in a way, because
Yeah.
it is family.
That's hard.
Yeah, you always want to be, you know, you want to communicate effectively, and sometimes it gets rubbed the wrong way. So there's all
Right.
type of different obstacles and challenges with that. It's not for the weak, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to really want it, and you have to understand it takes a lot of work to go down that type of path. But
When your dad, like, was it his idea or your idea or both of your ideas?
it was kind of his idea, I want to say.
Okay.
I did want to just make my family proud. That's kind of always been the purpose and the goal. I just kind of have that instilled in me. It's kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
But it's like, that's kind of why I wanted to do automotive, because it's like, I'm going to be a teacher like my mom, make them proud, or I'm going to do mechanics and automotive like my dad and make them proud. He would always mention like, oh, you're going to take over the shop one day. And the plan was that my brother was going to follow. But then after I did automotive school and graduated, he kind of went a different route.
Is it brother older or younger?
He's a couple years younger. So
Got
I just
it.
always
so you're
expected.
Eldest anyway. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So I just expected him to follow shortly after me, either go to the same school, or like if he's just going to work here, or go to school at HCC and do, you know, an elective automotive class. But it just didn't work out that way. And then it was kind of, I wasn't too sure what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, we always kind of.
This was after automotive class, or your automotive
It was just
schooling?
while I was, because I worked here after I graduated for 2 years. So that way I could have the experience, become a certified mechanic, because you need 2 years hands-on experience.
Right.
And then the ASCs and everything, I got certified. Once I got all that done, then the next step was to take over the business, because now that I'm ready for it, basically. And then basically you're just Googling what's the next step to take. I didn't have anyone that I felt like I was comfortable, or I didn't even know like who to ask, where to find the person to ask. It was just Google searching.
Right.
If anyone asked me about it, I would ask them, or like, do you know anybody? It's all word of mouth again.
Yep.
So there was always mistakes made along the way as I was transitioning to take over the business. I think the only thing you can do is just do the most research as you can.
Yeah.
Take everything with a grain of salt, ask everybody, and, you know, feel it out to see who has the right knowledge to back up what they're telling you, and just understand it's never going to be smooth sailing. There's always going to be things where it's like, oh, you have to redo this, like, to get all the paperwork in line, you know? So I had obstacles with that, of course, but I mean, over the years, I'm just trying to make sure like everything is good, everything's in line, like I'm doing all the right things, and it is a lot to keep track of if it's just you.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So it's like, it would be nice if I did have someone that I could trust to literally be in this with me. So it is scary in a part, you know, when you have your own business, it's like you see how people act towards it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just really hard for people to understand that.
Act towards it in a sense of like admin work, or?
Well, just to realize like how much help is needed,
Right,
or,
yeah.
you know, just to understand how difficult it is. Even something as simple of like, if someone wants to come work at my shop,
Yeah.
they don't really understand a lot of things. Like, I understand everybody wants to get paid a lot because, you know, everything is so difficult and, you know, times are hard, but
Sure.
it's like at the same time for small businesses, it's like we need someone that's really good. Like we need someone to care as much as we do.
Right.
And, you know, I understand that's not going to happen because they have their own responsibilities outside of like, this is just their job. So it's like, it's that hard understanding to where it's like, well, I get it, but I wish I had the help for someone to understand this level, to put blood, sweat, and tears like I do into this, but at the same time, it's not their responsibility at a certain point. So it's very difficult. There's a million challenges with just being a business owner, just being self-employed in general. It's very difficult.
Especially small business too, because it is like a family setting, and that's like what you're saying. Like if somebody's here working here, like they'll understand that and they want to put their all into it, and they will give you their all, and then it becomes sometimes a hard thing if you don't know how to run it efficiently. Like they can feel like they're getting taken advantage of, or vice versa too, and so then it becomes that hard place, which, you know, from different people either I've worked for, it's whether it's restaurant or previous like jobs that I've had, you learn what to do and definitely what not to do.
Right.
Or things that you wouldn't want it run that way because you've seen how it can play out, and you know, you just try to make it better, but you understand that they also were trying to do the best that they could but also for themselves. So it's a hard line of like, okay, what's that line of what's good for you and them?
It's hard to like make it right so then everybody wins kind of thing.
And it should be that. It shouldn't be just it shouldn't feel like it's I don't know how to explain
as a worker, you feel like you're overworked and underpaid, but then as a business owner, you feel like your workers aren't working hard enough and you're paying them too much. So it's like, it's always like one side of the story. But I understand both sides. It's just, I know it is super challenging, and I understand. I signed up for this, and I do love that I'm not bored. I feel like I have a purpose here, you know. always try to put my all into everything that I do, which is why like I'm just giving it my all for here. There's nothing really outside of this. It's like this is my livelihood essentially. So it's hard for everyone to understand that completely, but it's just a lot to take on. But I mean, we enjoy doing it, you know. We enjoy working hard and having to look back on everything that led up to that point, you know.
Yeah, and within the 10 years that you've now taken over the business as well, how have you dealt with, or have you felt burnout, and how have you dealt with that? Do you still deal with it?
I constantly feel burnt out, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Small business owner.
I know. Like, there's like, I don't know if I've ever not done anything work related, but it's like, it almost becomes a curse. I don't know if you feel this way too, but it's almost like if you're not doing something, you have that guilt where it's like, I'm not getting anything done. I'm falling behind. There's so much to do. It's like,
you don't even know what to do first.
Yeah, you don't know where to start. So I constantly stress myself out, which is like, it's my own doing. But I constantly feel burnt out. I think there's like good and bad to it. I mean, everyone kind of makes like being burnt out is negative, which you should definitely take a break. But at the same time, it's like, I enjoy being busy. I like to always have something to do. I kind of just take it what's in front of me, basically. I try to prioritize everything as best I can, and then I try to do either the quick and easy things first. Making lists are always good, so I'll check it off.
Yeah.
My memory's super bad, so I always have to make notes just to like realize like, oh, I forgot to do this. Oh, I got to go back to this. So it's like an endless to-do list, but it definitely helps to feel accomplished as you see it getting crossed off throughout the day or the month, whatever it is.
For me, I've been like, now my Google calendars is just it. Like I had to put every little thing in there, or else I will forget it, because it's funny, they have reels on Instagram now about like people with ADHD, which I think everybody just is nowadays. I'm not like clinically diagnosed, but again, with just the fast like paced Instagram and like instant gratification, like you become that way, and your brain's just like here, like squirrel. You know, so really making sure that I put it in there, and then also making sure you look at it is very important. So I've been doing a lot better at that since like the last season, so that's been a blessing. But yeah, being able to write it down, and I have now an agenda. Like my cousin who owns that business, Panty Promise, so she had sent me originally a like an agenda book. So again, all these little helpful things that people have done, and then you know, you start to use them, see if it's useful for you in that way, and then continue on with that. So we were talking about burnout. So you say so. Yes, I mean, we're constantly trying to promote our business because we love it, right? So I don't think that's necessarily the burnout part of it. I think it's more of just like not having your head in the like admin part of it, like really taking a break, getting out. And I noticed you've been fishing lately, right?
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
I'll have to literally force myself to do something, even if I do go fishing. I'm either on my iPad making a design, or, you know, I'm getting back to someone on my phone. So it's like...
So fishing works, you just...
so it's like, well, I'm waiting. I might as well like put this in my calendar. But it's hard to get away from it. So I'm like practically forcing myself to like stop. I have all kind of hobbies that in a way relate to the brand and the business, which is good. So it's like taking a break without taking a break. I'll design stickers and shirts on my time off, or either I'll paint. I haven't painted in a long time, but like doing small things like that we naturally enjoy. I like making shirts because it is creative, and I've always been pretty artistic growing up. I've always enjoyed it. That's actually what my mom thought I was going to do, to go to some kind of art school. So I like to find ways where I can incorporate it. Even that we did the Halloween photo shoot.
I saw that. That was so sick. You guys got to check it out. It's on your Instagram, or is there going to be like a bigger thing?
It's on my Instagram and my TikTok. But all in the
Shecanic.
But so finding ways like that, it's like little creative things like that, I like get so excited for. Like, I used to love doing Halloween makeup during like all the month of October. That was kind of like my thing. But now that I don't have the time, at least like, okay, we'll do a jack-o'-lantern, we'll do a photo shoot real quick. So that kind of feeds that creative side. So it does help with the burnout, even though it's for work. It's like, it's clearly something we got to have fun with and bring everybody together. So it's like a different form of like not completely working, you know? So stuff like that kind of does balance it out, and kind of zooming out and just reminding yourself like, this isn't everything that life is about. Yes, it's obviously your livelihood and everything you surround yourself, but like sometimes just appreciating and slowing down and just taking a minute to enjoy life because it goes by so fast. So little things like that, even though it's not fully going on a vacation or anything, it's like, that makes me happy, something simple like that.
Yeah. So taking it back just a little bit, for those people that might be listening or watching that want to open up their own business or join the family business, whatever the case may be, but they're nervous because they don't know where to start. Like, what would you recommend to them? Like, just where to begin, or just how to even trust themselves? And
Right. I think it's all about just not second guessing yourself too much. You're never going to really know until you try. I mean, you could make a million excuses why it's not going to work out. And that's kind of what I've learned growing up. I've been so scared of everything. I've been known to be shy growing up. But it's like, you're only holding yourself back. Like, you have to at least try. Of course, there's a give and take. Like if you invest all your eggs in one basket and then it blows up, it's like, maybe you should have had a backup plan. So you want to make it make sense, always asking a good trusted friend that's in a similar situation. Growing up, we're always told, like, surround yourself with the right people, like make sure you choose the right friends. All those things really matter, and we don't really understand that until we get to this point. So if you have good friends that are also driven like you, that want to do their own business, that's a really helpful tool to ask them and have their insight. Or even their parents, if their parents, if you're around the same age, you can ask someone older that's not necessarily a direct friend, but just asking someone that's in a similar scenario, just even who has their own business. It'll be different for everybody depending on the business, but just ask as many people as you can. Look on the internet, social media. There's so many different resources now. Just take it all by a grain of salt, I think, is what it is. And then if you find a majority answer, that's probably the right answer to lean towards.
Yep, absolutely. I was going to say that earlier too. It's like, yes, doing the research, but like you said, well, knowing who has the right information. How do you know that? By checking multiple sources and see what the common denominator or common ground is even how I started the podcast. Like, okay, what was the tools that they used? What were the platforms that were used? Or even, I didn't know that there was a platform that hosted the podcast for audio stuff. And even now it's always adapting and growing too. I mean, that's Jeet Kune Do in itself too, Bruce Lee's art and concept. So it not only works for martial arts, but for business as well, and just in life. So Jeet Kune Do is everything, man. And then what I was going to say too is just, if you don't have any friends or anybody that has that experience, that's why this podcast exists. You can check anybody. We put your guys' sorry, I hate saying so much. I've been doing so good, guys.
I cut them all out.
I try not to, because I just try to do it smoothly, but
because it's so fast paced.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. So, but with the podcast, we have in the description where you can find them on Instagram. You can reach out to them. Sometimes they're super busy and they might not be able to, but you can always follow them on Instagram or their websites and see how they've been able to do things, and reach out. You never know, if you contact them or their emails, whatever, they might be able to help you out. Or again, just listening into the podcast to see what they've been able to do. That's why we created this, so that it can help you out, because we had the resources. I had the resources with my maybe old bosses, or my cousin, again, who owns that panty brand, or my neighbor at the time, who was a very accomplished young lady herself, and she understood the paperwork and different things, whereas to me, that's overwhelming. I'm like,
absolutely,
there's a lot. I don't get it. How do you know how to do this? And like, I'll try it, and then of course it was the wrong one, and I'm like,
it's always trial and error. You never know until you try, though, You don't know if you're going to be able to pick it up right away or not, or you probably need practice like anything else. So.
And if it's government stuff, though, that's where it's like gets really tricky, meaning like the right paperwork, which usually they will tell you, but sometimes they don't tell you till too late.
Oh, wow.
So, and then it's like, oh, you should have filled out this one. It's like, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Right,
but did not. So, yeah, so definitely, like Malia was saying, is research into that.
I'll have a lot of people message me on different platforms asking for advice, or even like just a walk-in. I just had a customer who said he saw me on TikTok, and like his uncle brings his car here, so he wanted to start bringing his cars here for maintenance.
Nice.
And right off the bat, he asked me, I'm thinking about changing careers right now. I make okay money, but I kind of wanted to look into the automotive industry. And he explained he didn't have a background. So I was trying to give him a few options, like maybe if you have a friend that's tinkering on a car, go hang out with them in the garage. See if it's something that you like. Don't just like dive right in.
Yeah.
He's wondering if he should quit his job and go back to school. And it's like, that's a big commitment. And if you feel okay with the career you're already in and you're making good money, like maybe that's where it is. And it's comfortable to not have to worry about the bills being paid. So like in that aspect, I think it's smart to hold on to it. But at the same time, if you're interested, take it as a hobby first, or if you want to just
don't quit right away for a paying job.
Exactly.
Believe me.
Yeah, you just want to like not do anything so spontaneous. You want to like at least do some research and feel it out. If there's like a trial run you can do, even if you do take a class, like maybe don't quit the job. If there's a way you can take a night class, or even watching someone online and seeing if you can get the right vibe. If like, okay, someone's working on their garage on a project car, if he gets a project car, he could also tinker on it. So there's different ways you could, you know, dip your foot in and see if you like it and not fully commit to see if it's for you. I feel like a lot of people who are mechanics, it was when they grew up, they started on mopeds or motorcycles, and then they eventually, you know, moved up to 4 wheels. And so they did it when they were just like elementary school or even younger. So I started kind of late. So,
and they often have like that engineering mind too.
Yeah,
like
it's almost like built into them, and they're really talented. And it's almost like a dying art, I would say, because I feel like a lot of people are kind of straying away from that. And they're also making vehicles not as user friendly, so that doesn't help the situation
a lot of
either.
Electronic stuff now too.
Yeah, but you just have to try, you know. Don't do anything hasty, but I say like
or big.
Yeah.
Start with an oil change.
You just want to be safe, because it's like everything's so demanding now, and everyone's just trying to get by and make ends meet. So it's like definitely don't put your life at risk.
Yeah.
But if you have that curiosity, that drive, like don't be afraid. Like take a chance, but you know your limits, and just have fun, because it's gonna fly by, and you're always gonna wonder like, should I have tried it? And
and then like you said,
fun.
You can ask a friend who knows how to do it. Like when I changed the oil for the first time on my Jeep, it was amazing. I had the right tool, but it wouldn't open. So Malia, I just asked her if she had the tool, and she came with it herself and got under the car and helped me out to undo it. And then her dad also helped, like, show me how to change the filter and stuff. And it was a family affair. My mom had come to visit.
It was fun.
And then I've since changed my own oil, which I'm proud of myself for doing, and it opened up for me, which was great.
Yeah, it's a good feeling too, you know, when you do something that seems like it's small, and then you realize like, oh, if I don't have the right tool, it can make or break the job. These are things that you can't really necessarily explain. Yeah, it's things that you won't really understand until you try it yourself. And now you know, but you've probably felt so accomplished. Like now this time I know I'll need that tool for when I do it. Now I can do it no problem.
Well, now it just works even without like the longer handle on it.
Oh,
but
that's
again,
good.
You know.
Well, it probably wasn't as tight as last time with the heat, and then maybe the last person tightened it a little too tight. So it's all these things you're going to learn every time you do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, before you know it, you're going to be able to jam it. You're going to know exactly what part you need. You're going to have everything prepped. You know, you're only going to do it better and better. So it's like, why not? Why not try it?
Next thing is how to spray the brakes so that they're not so squeaky.
Yeah, of course.
But anyway, so did you inherit a lot of the clients that your dad had, or like how has that been working? Like how have you been getting business for yourself? Do they know that it's you because you're talking about it, or do they know it from your dad? I mean, again, you've been doing this now for 10 years for yourself, so.
Yeah, it is interesting because it's not like something that we really flaunt. It's not like there's a big poster like, oh, new owner, you know. Yeah. So when I did take it over, a lot of it was pretty much his clients, and it did take a while for it to kind of transition where I was more and more involved.
Right.
He used to do, I mean, he's still very much involved, but he would kind of do everything for me. And without that, I don't know how I would have survived, to be completely honest. But
that's having a mentor, whether it's your father or somebody in the business, you know, that's.
Yeah, but I never really realized it until now that time is passing on. I'm realizing like, I needed that to happen, you know? I needed that guidance, because I would be completely lost because I didn't have anyone to turn to. I didn't know who to ask. Yeah, but it's just seeing that over the years, how he's done it, and then slowly but surely, like, you know, I'll slowly get more comfortable. And now that I'm going online more, or I'm talking to the customer directly, then they'll, you know, stickers too. I'll make like free stickers where it has my contact info. So just like that, it's all about the connections. So this customer will pass the sticker to another person. Yeah. That's kind of how it goes. And then.
Or have it on their water bottle.
Yeah, exactly. And then Tyneski, she sold her car that she used to bring here to another girl for example, and now this girl brings Ty's car here all the time.
Yeah.
And now she has a bunch of friends, so see how it travels, and she has like a few friends, so now all those friends bring their cars here, and that's kind of an example of how it got to where it is now.
Yeah.
And then even online, people are messaging me, so I'm slowly getting my clientele built up. A lot of it started with his, but then they started to see me more. So they kind of transitioned. Of course, they'll always say hi to my dad, and my dad will work on it if, because he's always doing the motor builds and everything, so he won't necessarily do a lot of the newer cars now.
Yeah.
But he'll jump in every once in a while because, he did build this place. But it was just a very slow burning process. But now I can see that more people are starting. It's slowly becoming, to where I greet everybody, I take on the clients and do the day-to-day things. So it's kind of getting to that point, which is nice to see.
And with the day-to-day things, so if somebody wanted to come in and have their car looked at, how do they contact you? Like, what's the way that they find you? And then is it a scheduling system? Like, how does that work for you? Like, because I know you said you'd forget things too. So do you guys have a specific scheduling system that you use? Like, or do you just use Google Calendars? Like, how does that work?
It's kind of, I want to say for the most part, first come, first serve. So because my memory is bad, I usually won't even take phone calls anymore. It's usually if you leave me a voicemail, at least like the voicemail will be a written out recording to where it says their name and number. Yeah, and then they'll even text me. And I send a lot of videos and photos when I do the repair, just because I do feel like the automotive industry has like these stereotypes and bad reps. So I'm trying to almost blur that and like destroy in a way to where it's like, hey, here's all the photos, here's all the videos, this is what I'm doing every step of the way, to where the trust builds and to how I get my clientele and everything. And people like that. Even if you explain to them what you do before and after, they enjoy seeing those photos. I'll circle some things if it's hard to tell. And that way there's no questioning like, oh, did you do this? Did you do that? Like, it's all in the video. Like, what did you find on my car? It's all in the video. So I like doing that online too, because then I can see a previous job that I did. But back to before, they'll usually
back to the future.
They'll usually text me. And then if it's something that I feel is urgent, to where it's like my car's overheating, I need to get seen right away, I'll usually schedule them first. And then so I'll tell them the day and the time. And then if they've never been here before, I'll usually tell them you can honk if you're outside the gate, or you can call me. There's like different methods. But if usually they've already been here before and they're comfortable, so they know what to do already. But depending on
secret entrance, give a secret knock, and then
I know. Well, it's just to keep like the traffic from coming in. It's like,
well, you got security cameras, which is good too.
It's hard if you're under a car and then someone, if a delivery comes in or if a customer is coming, it's like I have to do like 4 things at once. So it is really challenging.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that, the one-woman show.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. And so I think that's why we become scatterbrained, We're trying to get everything done when we're only one person.
Everything, and that's all the little details. Again, just trying to set up this camera, trying to make sure that these things are still recording, which I'm going to do again in a second. But yeah, all those little things, and it's just like, this is not my main thing, so it's things that you have to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, I always bring up my cousin, because her and I talk all the time about what's growing with her business, and she's been going to cotton farms, like, to figure out where the cotton is coming from that builds her panties. Originally, she thought it was like Italy, like that's who she was like making. I mean, these are details. I'm going to interview her again too to find out the details. So don't take my word for that last one. But she's like, oh, this whole time it's been made in the USA. Like the cotton at least is coming from the US. So the more that we can kind of make
it's good
US.
She's curious about it.
Well, yeah, and she wants to know. She's like it needs to know, and I think it's better because it's from the foundation up, literally. Like, what are you putting on your body?
Yeah, like the ingredients.
She's got a gynecologist, like a really well-known one that she consults with, and that backs her her panty brand as well. As we're running around on our day-to-day life, whether we're running to business meetings or video calls, or we're physically running around either on the field if you play sports, in the gym, or in your martial arts classes, it's really important to understand what you are putting on your body and what's going to protect you. So definitely check out Panty Promise. It's our favorite and most trusted panty brand to use and wear on a daily basis in all of those occasions. They're sleek, they're nice, and they're fashionable. So you can use our code TASKOFIT, TASKOFIT, to get 20% off of your next order. That's pantypromise.com. But yeah, so she's been going, and again, I helped her when I went to Florida with just videoing, which this is not my main thing. I used to do it a lot for my old boss, with like kettlebell kickboxing. Like we would just for Instagram stuff. Like I'd be there like videoing her when I'd be working at the front desk at Anderson's Martial Arts Academy back in New York. And yeah, so like that was cool. Like I like to be able to do that, but now it's me trying to do it for myself, and it's really hard to, even with martial arts, trying to get video of me. And it's funny because when I put myself on there, people on Instagram tend to like it more. And I'm like, because I'm posting the kids and stuff all the time, and I'm thinking it's cool. Yeah. And then it's like not as many likes.
I think if it's for your brand, the audience wants to see you.
Yeah.
Because I originally, like, naturally, I don't want to have any attention on me. I don't want to be in front of a camera. But it's like, ever since I started doing YouTube, I would do vlogging just to kind of show my day. I thought it was fun and creative. And it's like I learned how to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And then I started doing commercials for my agency. So all of that, almost like self-teaching yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like now I'm actually good in front, or, you know, right in front of the camera. And now people want me to be in front. So it's like, even though it's like, it seems like, you know, if you're filming yourself, it seems kind of, I guess people could see it as conceited, or, you know, like, oh, they love looking at themselves or being on camera on the spotlight. But it's like, it's kind of like a talent, you know, and you're not acting, but, you know, you're putting it on. You're trying to be entertaining. You're trying to get the message across. And it's like, those are things that you teach yourself along the way. You'll only get better at it, but.
Which, again, as a small business owner, hey, it's like some client of yours. No.
It happens all the time on the street.
As a small business owner, that's what you, maybe not what you need to be doing, depending. If you already have word of mouth and you have plenty of clients, great. That works for you. But nowadays, a lot of it is online. A lot of it is outreach through that. And you might not get a ton, but you have to put a ton out there in order to get some clients, which is, you know, it's another job in itself, which is why people often hire people to do it.
Right.
I mean, my cousin, again, I told her, because she was talking about me, which would be awesome to go travel. But I was like, well, I mean, her idea too, because she's an adjunct professor for FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology.
Oh, wow.
And then, but now she lives in Florida, but she's still, I think, an adjunct professor, because I don't think you ever lose it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, why don't you've had people do internships with you before. Why don't you see if somebody is local to where you're going in Texas to do it for you? And she did end up finding somebody. She contacted one of the professors there, which is pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
And just finding people that can like help you out and that you don't necessarily have to pay, but they still get the experience that they need as well. So
right. But I do think for your Instagram, people do want to see you.
Yeah.
Like, it's cute for the kids, but I personally think people want to see you more, you know, more over the kids, even though that's nice to throw them in.
Yeah.
But since your own brand, you're the face of the company, I think they would like to see, like, oh, this is who I'm going to be working with if I want to take a class, or you know, they enjoy seeing you talk and like educating. Even for mine too, I think people do prefer that. So it's like just taking the time to change it up a little bit. I know I get asked to do basic like tips and tricks, or even like maintaining your car. I know I've been asked that quite a bit, so it's just me just starting it from the very beginning, like what would be the first episode, or like, so it is all these ideas that we have up our sleeve, but it is cool. I do enjoy filming.
I like being in front of the camera. Like, that's always like, I used to want to be in movies. I used to want to be an actress.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's good if you naturally have that drive, you know.
The thing I don't have is somebody to film me. I don't have a me. Exactly. Like, even though, okay, you can have the tripods lately, but it's like when you're teaching a class, you know. So what I've become better at, like, I have one student of mine that comes now to the other classes, because I'm trying to promote for my business and also for the Friday class there, which is hard because it's like, it's that fine line, right? It's just like, they won't post stuff if I have my business in it, but they'll post it if they have just theirs. But he is helping me in the back end, right? Supporting. So like, which is the more important thing, you know? So I think like him helping me in the back end and really trying to get me to do my own stuff too, outside of, I have like 3 or 4 different jobs that I'm doing. So really going into more of what I can do and doing that is important. But for some reason, I always do better with promoting other people and other people's things. Oh, wow. And it's just like, I need to be better about promoting my stuff.
Right.
Where was I going with this? Oh, just Instagram. So yeah, so having somebody, so this is where I was going with this, sorry guys, is I have one of my students come on Fridays now at least, or if she's in class and my phone's full of space, or even if it's not, she'll come and I'll ask her to film me if I have somebody else to demo with, which is important, and it makes a big difference because she can move with the camera.
There's not as much like, wait, let me adjust. It makes or breaks it. It's really, really helpful.
And it's a better angle too. It's like rather than trying to set up something. I mean, this is
even
cool.
Me, when I work on the cars, I'll put it here and then it'll fall and I'm doing something, because it's like the priority is to do the repair correctly.
Right.
So it's like, well, you know, the video isn't going to do good now. So it's like, do I pick one? I mean, the job is always, you know, the priority, but it's like, to have someone to film you at the right angle for you to see what they're doing, and then to change it up to make it look aesthetic.
And to make sure that you're not giving out too much personal information with the car. I noticed that, like, you're not too open with where the car is. Like, you maybe mention the make and model, but you're sure to, like, blank out anything that's not there.
I try to always blank out, like, the license plate, or like if it has personal stuff in the car.
Right,
I try to keep
close up.
You never know who you're gonna offend. You know, if someone's like, "Oh, why'd you film my car?" It's like, I don't ever want to risk rubbing someone the wrong way. But sometimes people do like it. They're like, "Oh, post my car! I can't wait to see a reel of my car."
Which is great too, because then you can ask them and then tag them. It's a weird conversation sometimes, because some people are like, why would you do that? And other people are like, hell yeah, like, let's go, like, tag me, and then they can share it too. So it's that hard fine line.
It's kind of cool to chameleon it, though. You never know.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Malia, thank you so much for everything. It's been such an amazing experience to have you on this podcast, and we'll hope to follow up soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Aloha, guys.